All right. The next climate factor that we need to look at, something that can affect the climate, is the ocean currents. Okay. So, what is an ocean current? It's when water moves from one place in the ocean to another place in the ocean. Why is this important? Because water is different temperatures. Some of it is hot, some of it is cool, and the air above it will reflect that. So, basically, we're moving energy around, the ocean is moving energy around the planet. What are some examples of this? We've got the Gulf Stream, which is a current, California current, and then two events that are affected. The ocean can affect the weather, which is El Nino and La Nina, which you will look at later today. So, how do we get ocean currents? The first current is a surface current. So, you have wind moving, these large wind patterns on the Earth that move consistently in the same direction. They drag the surface of the ocean with them and they pull water with them. They can affect water as deep as 1,000 feet. And so as that water moves away, water from underneath comes up and replaces it. And that is how a surface current forms. The second current is a temperature current. You got a pretty good idea this is going to have something to do with temperature. So when water cools, we know it's going to become more dense and it will sink. And if it sinks, it doesn't mean the ocean gets shallower there, because then more water will move in and fill in on the top. The same thing works in the other direction. If we have water warming up, it becomes less dense, it will rise. And that doesn't mean the bottom of the ocean doesn't have any water. Water will fill in from underneath there. And then we get these circular ocean currents moving. The last ocean current that we're going to talk about is called a density current. So the density of the ocean water can be changed in two ways. When water is heated up to the point where it evaporates, the difference between ocean water and fresh water is the salt in it. So when it evaporates, that means there's less water, but there's more salt. And so the water gets more dense and it causes it to sink at that point. The same thing can happen when water freezes, because when water freezes, when you think about in the winter, what do we do to try to get ice to melt? We put salt on it. So when icebergs form out of ocean water, they're not forming with salt in them. They're leaving that salt behind. So the water gets more dense and it sinks. And this is how currents can be caused in the ocean, and thus can move energy around and affect climates. So what you're going to do today is a lab on ocean currents. And so you got to go through the videos on the Google Slides and answer the questions on the lab sheet. And in the back of the lab sheet, there is some information about what makes ocean currents important. Good luck.